Airport delays kick in around spring break as the partial government shutdown worsens an already crowded time of year, folks. There is a lot of stress that's unfolding in airports. The perfect storm of spring break crowds and the partial government shutdown are creating a travel nightmare. If you don't know, as of Wednesday morning, major hubs like the Hartsfield, Jackson, Atlanta, and Houston Hobby are reporting security wait times that are exceeding 3 hours. The gridlock isn't just due to the seasonal surge of students and families. It's being fueled currently by the massive spike in TSA call-outs, with some airports seeing nearly 40% of their security staff staying home after missing their first full paychecks last week. The Department of Homeland Security issued a blunt warning Tuesday, stating that if these absentee rates continue, some smaller regional airports may have to shut down entirely to divert the remaining staff to major international hubs. In Philadelphia and Miami, several security checkpoints have already been shuttered, forcing thousands of travelers into single monstrous queues that wrap around the entirety of the terminal. This is wild. To make matters worse, recent severe storms across the East Coast have triggered over 1,100 cancellations, leaving travelers stranded in airports where food and services are already limited by the ongoing funding impasse. Let's play a little bit of this, ladies and gentlemen, because I always encourage people, don't do anything for spring break. What are you doing? That is actually the best time to be at your small town or your hometown or wherever you live, because everybody else is out doing something fun for spring break. You're the one who was smart enough to stay home. You have the Chinese buffet all to yourself.
And the situation at American airports has gone from bad to worse over the past 24 hours. Democrats are refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security unless Republicans agree to changes in immigration enforcement.
This is a pointless battle, I would like to mention, by the way. They're not going to change it anytime soon. The Democrats are holding it up for no good reason. This is not a hill to die on. You're making the situation with the war, the situation where our gas prices are already going up, and you're making the cancellations. All of this is getting worse because for some reason you think the Trump administration is ready to renegotiate the immigration style. It's not. No. It's not going to happen. It's not a hill worth dying on. Go. Continue.
But guess who's caught in the middle? 50,000 TSA officers working without pay amid a partial government shutdown or not working at all. About 10% of them have been calling out in recent days. And that leaves more than 2 million airline passengers a day to deal with multi-hour security lines and heightened concern about the risk of terrorism.
Well, yeah.
Also late today, we learned that half the checkpoints at Philadelphia International Airport will be closed effective tomorrow. And that's not all. Senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is all over this story for us.
Chris Van Cleve.
Chris, good evening. How bad could this get?
Tony, it could become a situation where those 2+ hour lines become more common than not at airports across the country, and could get worse yet if an airport can't staff its checkpoints. That airport may have to close for the day. Flyers prepare for the airport to get a lot less fun this spring break. In Denver, it was a rocky morning.
This is nuts. I've never seen DIA like this.
At the Atlanta airport, another day of wait times topping 2 hours. Nearly 40% of the airport's TSA officers called out sick Monday, forcing a checkpoint to close.
If I didn't come 2 hours earlier, I'd miss my flight. Look at this line.
Look at this line.
3 of the TSA checkpoints at the Philadelphia airport will be closed. TSA sick calls are surging since officers missed a paycheck Friday due to the month-long partial government shutdown. Monday saw the most yet. More than 10% of officers nationwide called out. That's more than 5 times a normal day.
I don't even blame them.
Every single day, we have individuals sleeping in their cars, drawing blood to afford to pay for gas to get to work. So the situation financially is dire for officers.
Acting Deputy TSA Administrator Adam Stahl.
If the caller rate does climb, there could be scenarios where we may have to shut down airports. This is a serious situation.
It sounds like every day this goes on, you think it's going to get worse.
Yes, the longer we do not receive funding from both the department and for TSA, this will get worse. This will not get better.
Wait times are already increasing.
We're going to make our flight. We're thinking this is probably at least an hour's wait.
At Houston's Bush Airport today, the lines hit at least 103 minutes. 86 minutes in San Juan, and an hour at Chicago O'Hare.
It
does not sound like airport closures are imminent. First, the TSA would look to reduce the number of open lanes and the number of open checkpoints, but particularly for smaller airports, that is a possibility. What can flyers do? Check your airport's website before you head to the airport. Most have up-to-date wait times, and then leave yourself some extra time when you get to the airport, Tony.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that this is affecting spring breakers, ladies and gentlemen. Spring breakers are, unfortunately, they are not the only ones that are feeling it. I understand a lot of people, they're like, I have to go see my mother. It's terminal. We don't know how long she's going to be there. Listen, that, quite frankly, does not stack up to the fact that these people need to have a cooler and some buddies on a beach. That is what they need to do. And let's actually jump into this section right now that I want to cover. It's a partial section of this, the flight stuff. I understand that there's not much we can do about it. So let's talk about the stuff that's more fun to talk about, like the fact that the Florida police are they're struggling with the spring breakers. They, as we already covered yesterday, I believe it was, Daytona Beach. They had a situation where allegedly some gunshots were fired off. No one has proven yet if they were gunshots. It could have been someone popping a water bottle or something. It could have been, any of those sorts of things that are just loud and sudden, and it scared off a crowd and whatnot. And they have already made 133 arrests at Daytona Beach and New Smyrna Beach as the spring break begins, folks. If you're planning on going to Florida for your spring break, don't, because they are party shitters. They're not there for you to have a good time. And the sheriff, Mike Chitwood, this beautiful man with a big nose and a bigger mustache. He kind of looks like, who's the guy from The Ranch? He looks like him if he was bald, Sam Elliott. He looks like this guy, and he is here to lay down the law. You rowdy teenagers.
This weekend alone, we made 133 total arrests. 84 of them in Daytona Beach, 49 of them in New Smyrna Beach. What is concerning is we seized 6 weapons.
Oof.
2 of them were on an adult, one adult carrying 2 guns, and a juvenile who had possession of a stolen firearm.
Whoa.
But what's more disheartening, and people need to understand, is everybody can carry a gun in Florida.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the color of your skin.
You can be strapped up.
It matters your age. But you know what? There's a lot of people out there, and the chief counted over 20 encounters where we may have stopped somebody for an open container who was an adult who said to us, I want to let you know I got my gun in my backpack. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can carry your gun concealed. They can carry a weapon open carry. So it's a new generation in dealing with spring break. If they're legal to possess a firearm, they can carry it concealed or they can carry it open. And that's what we had out there. There were a lot of people armed with guns on top of the bad guys armed with guns.
On top of the bad guys armed with guns. On top of the bad guys armed with guns. But ladies and gentlemen, if you plan on doing one of these little get-togethers again where you and your buddies, you and your nondescript buddies, you get together and you decide to, have a little rave. You decide to have a little powwow. Not a powwow. I'm not going to make this racial. And it's not Native Americans doing this stuff. It really isn't. I didn't see one of them at this entire get-together, and I analyzed this crowd like Tony Stark analyzing footage to figure out where, like, the villain is. You know what I mean? I was going deep on this footage, and, It's a bunch of rowdy folk. That is one way that you can put it. And Sheriff, he also has warned you, we're coming for you. If you try to do anything like this, again, we're coming after you financially. He warns you, we're coming after you financially. I haven't been able to figure out how we can come after you legally yet for some reason, even though you're organizing a event that it has no permits, has no legal tenure to stand where it's going to be or to be held where it is. And for some reason, that's not illegal to the point that they can prosecute you legally, criminally. He goes like, well, I'll figure out how to do criminally later, but we're coming after you financially. This is a warning directly from Sheriff Mike Chitwood. I love his name. Chitwood, please take it away. Fox News Orlando, take it away, please.
This goes to every promoter. You promote a truck event, you promote a takeover event, we are coming after you financially. So we're going to be the first county, and my attorneys are working on it now, probably going to be the first county in the state where you're going to see we are coming after you financially.
Coming after you.
Coming after you criminally, I would. So don't sit behind a keyboard in Georgia or Orlando
Georgie.
or wherever and think you're going to do these Trump events or these takeover events. This is not going to happen. There's a way to do business.
Way to do
Get
business. Get permits.
Do things the right way.
Do things the right
This
way.
goes to
That's a warning to every single one of you bitches. If you plan on having a fun time at the beach, don't even try on my watch. If it's over 30 people, you're getting shot on the beach by Sheriff Mike Chitwood, ladies and gentlemen. This is a joke. This is a satirical show. I know that in Florida, they'll come knock on your door if you post something that's like too much of a joke for them. If it's too much of a joke for them, they'll be like, hey, we're part of the blah, 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 police department. We are a little concerned about some posts that you made on Instagram that may be considered ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna move past Chitwood. I love Mr. Chitwood. He and I are great friends. We call each other on the regular, you know what I mean? And yeah, I cannot wait for our next meeting so that he can justify this behavior to me. I cannot understand why he's doing this. He's going after the Springbreakers. You cannot go after the only solid base of economy, except for maybe the crypto bros, a lot of the energy that Los Angeles had back in the early 2010s. It's kind of shifted now over to Miami. It's very much the scene now, you know what I mean? Even movies are getting made there. Georgia is a hot spot for movie making. The East Coast is kind of popping off right now. The West Coast is getting a little bit left in the dust when it comes to advancements, but whatever, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot take away the base of Florida, which is, grimy teens that want to go and they want to drink illegally. He's like, no, we're going to ruin everybody's good time. If you come to Florida expecting that you're going to be able to do something Florida-like, damn you, and I will get you off of my streets, ladies and gentlemen.